to maybe make an opening statement on how it feels to finally have the building open.
Yeah, in addition to a big sense of relief after 22 months of obviously unique circumstances and navigation with a pandemic and challenging work environments with protocols, we're just really excited. Even though our opening's a little bit muted because we don't have the sellout and don't have everything that we normally have, that doesn't dampen our excitement. That doesn't change what we're going to get done in the future. We're going to have our big day, so that'll be ahead. But meanwhile, we've got to plug through this year, and it's critical more than ever that we get into this facility, get our student athletes the benefits of the facility from a training perspective and everything. And I've said a number of times already that we're looking at this as we're guests in just a facility that's transformative for us, and we have an obligation to continue our strategy to build on recruiting, to build on player development, and none of that would be possible, obviously, without the support of UPMC, so many community partners, so many donors, and the city and the county. So we're just blessed, and I know my teammates and I feel a great obligation to give it our best every day in there going forward. It's just re-energizing for all of us, and hopefully we're able to take advantage of it and have that translate into some really good academic success and competitive success, and seeing young men and women grow as their careers at Duquesne take place. So again, we're very excited and thankful.
We'll open it up for questions now. Jerry, would you like to go first?
Thanks. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well, Jerry. How are you?
Good, thank you. This is just a nuts and bolts question, Dave. I was wondering how much of the infrastructure of the Palumbo remains. It wasn't imploded, obviously, but how much remains from the old building?
It's really kind of, if you would envision it, and you'll have to forgive me because I'm technically challenged quite a bit, but we kind of just went north, east, and west, and the more southern portion of the building has remained the foundation part. But we've expanded northeast and west sides of the building to create obviously a lot more square footage for us, to put the Foligno Sports Performance Center in there, to create concourse space, activation space, and really, give the building a signature look with the brick and the windows, and just have it be a real, beautiful building on campus in addition to a functional one.
What is the square footage now, Dave?
I'll have to get that to you. I can't recall off the top of my head. It's probably in my notes. I'll dig through them, and I'll get that to Dave Saber to get back to you.
Thank you.
And Noah, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, and you've already hit on it a little bit, but would you be able to just speak on the long-term benefit that you believe this facility will bring to the university and its athletic department?
Yeah, I think two things stand out in mind. One is repositioning our brand and enhancing our recruiting, I think, is going to be a big part of this, because we're behind on facilities. We were behind on some of the pieces. So I think what we have in the building is going to speak to a different type of student athlete, one that wants to come in there and work and take advantage of the technology we have in sports performance and everything. Will be attracted. I think we can shop from some higher shelves in all of our programs now. And I also think, we'll see development of student athletes change significantly. We'll have more time, more space for them to work, more, just on their minds, their hearts, their souls, their bodies, everything. So I think the long-term effect will be, you're going to see, a higher caliber of student athlete. I think that has to translate into competitive success. We're all on the hook for that. And we just have to, I think the other thing is, once you have a little momentum, which we've gained in a lot of our sports programs, this interruption cannot be a hurdle for you. It's just got to be a speed bump. And so we just need to continue to stick to what we've got as our core in terms of our strategic initiatives, and be unwavering and committed every day. And I think, academically, we've made great strides with all of our marks nationally, and competitively, we're getting there. We got to take that next step.
You talked a lot
Dave,
about
go ahead.
athletes. Were any current or former athletes from Duquesne consulted in the construction and the development of this facility at all?
You know, we looked at a number of other facilities, and we just, you know, I think the athletes all had an idea. We consulted them on a number of things. We consulted them on our brand, different things. So I think they had a number of ideas, but what we wanted to carefully do was we can't have everything at gold, you know, even, you know, we're not Alabama football. But we wanted to make sure the things that were gold in the project as opposed to silver or bronze, really important. So that's why we focused on player development, the fan experience, you know, creating a really good atmosphere for Division I basketball. And then, you know, obviously having all the athletes have their one-stop shopping now. They have nowhere else to go. Whether they train, they're being treated, whether they are being tutored. So I think it's really going to become an epicenter for us. And I think can help affect our culture too. So, you know, that's really how we kind of looked at it.
New bias, did you have a question?
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Dave, you mentioned earlier, like the forward progression of the program. Where do you ultimately see the program going, particularly in conjunction with getting this new arena popping?
Yeah, I assume you're talking men's basketball, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, you know, when Coach Dambrot and I first talked during the interview process, the goal has always been to build a program that's capable of reaching the postseason. And, you know, the difference between the NIT and the NCAA is often a game or two, a banked in shot, a made three. But we want to have a program that's capable of being right there. You're not going to control every outcome. But if we finish in the top half of this league consistently, top 5, top 4, we're going to be there every year. And that's where we're setting our sights. And, you know, this year's obviously been challenging for everybody. You're seeing some, you know, results and programs that are historically, you know, NCAA perennial contenders struggling. I think this year's one that we're just going to blast through and continue to get better. But, you know, next year's another step of building our program. And quite frankly, it's just being right on the cusp, right there to be in the NCAA tournament. That's what we're here for.
Jerry, do you have another question?
Yeah, I know you guys bid on the A10 tournament. I saw the release yesterday. I was wondering, when is the NCAA tournament going to come back? And is it big enough for, is the coop big enough, you know, for an NCAA sub-regional or something?
Well, we have the NCAA tournament coming, and PPG will be the host. However, you know, there's, and we can send you the whole list, Jerry. We've been awarded the Division II championships, Division III championships, you know, some of the national championships to be held in our building, and I think it's a perfect building for those types of events. Now, when we obviously host in conjunction with PPG, when we host the NCAA tournament upcoming here. Obviously, our building will now be able to be used for practice for the teams that are visiting there. So it really becomes a complementary facility, especially once we get a lot of the back of the house stuff done to help with the NCAA tournament hosting process. But, you know, Dave can send you all those events that we've been awarded already. And we'll probably have a couple more pop up that we grab here as well. When
you bid for the A10, was it intended to play in the coop or at PPG?
Yeah. The requirements to host a tournament, we wouldn't be ready because our back of house, some of the locker rooms and things just aren't there. And they were ideally looking for, you know, I think the reason they wound up on Richmond and VCU is you can move games and protect your television slots should you have any concerns. So, you know, if we maybe had been ready and could have had a dual host with PPG to move those rounds around and have 2 game sites and be able to space it out correctly, we probably would have, you know, been successful. But Richmond and VCU will do a great job.
Dave, I know this is slightly off the arena stuff, but just a story I'm working on about the season and what it's been like. Do you feel like with where both, I guess, men and women's ball, particularly basketball, you feel like this has been worth the effort to get it going based upon everything that's happened so far?
You know, I think there's obviously the wins and losses that you monitor, but to me, our concern has always been the health and safety of our student athletes. And with COVID, there's been some, higher level complication with student athletes. So I think the challenge and the thing that keeps us up at night is always making sure we've crossed every screening, every checkpoint for our student athletes to return to activity and stay in activity appropriately. It's been a tremendous challenge, but I think a life lesson will emerge for us all, and that's perseverance. Having unpredictable things thrown at you, battling back, coming back from illness, having back-to-back games in our men's case, getting on planes, getting somewhere and having games canceled. It's just been an exercise in perseverance. And I think all the kids will come out of it stronger. Is it ideal? No. Could we maybe have delayed the college basketball season a little? I don't know what the NCAA's schedules were like. Could we have had May Madness? Maybe. But again, we're in it. We've got to persevere, and we've just got to make sure we take care of the kids.
Tim, you had a question?
Yeah, Dave, I was just curious, when you use the phrase, some of the back of the house stuff that still needs to be done, how about like concourses and fan things, like what we're going to see on Tuesday? How close to a finished product would that be if you were to be able to have fans in? Or, does the fact that no fans are being allowed, is that at least allowing you to get the basketball games off moving forward?
Yeah, no, Tim, what I will say is our game day is fully ready. But obviously the way, if we had full fans in the building, we'd be ready. We'd have concessions, everything. But, given the attendance restrictions and everything, there'll be plenty of space for the people that are in the building. There'll be the concourses and the fan amenities. But, we're looking forward to that day when we can obviously have full crowds in there. The back of the house stuff, really, our academic center needs finishing. We have some training rooms, the basketball film room, some of the locker rooms, just those types of touches that are, going to probably be completed by April. So.
What's your construction guys told you? Did you have any conversations with them at any point about, like, if COVID hadn't hit, we would have been able to open on time? Did they give you any indication about how things went, the fluidity of it?
Yeah. So first of all, our contractor, PJ Dick, has been amazing. You talk about perseverance and adjustment. They're the epitome of that. The one thing that had the pandemic not shut us down for 2 months, and in some cases, some days, because if a subcontractor had a positive case, we would have to shut down. We would have been ready to roll this year. And they caught up in a hurry. They've worked around a number of things. And so, that's the one thing that, it's kind of tough. We had everything aligned going into October, but November, but unfortunately it's just delayed till January, but they've done a tremendous job. We're blessed that they were on this project.
Dave, can you quantify the any possible cost overruns?
We are not on a cost overrun. We've been monitoring the budget closely. So right now we're just plugging away and finishing up. Obviously financial settlements are done at the end of a project, but we didn't have to delay anything in our project or pull back on it. We accomplished what we set out to accomplish. So that's a testament to our contractor, to some savvy decision making and value engineering here and there. And again, what we wanted to be gold is, what we wanted to be silver is, and what we wanted to be bronze is. But we're really pleased with the project.
Hey, Dave, one follow-up, if I may, to what Jerry was asking about the A10 tournament. I think I'm remembering this right, but the Penguins are away, right, for that weekend. So if something happens in Virginia, can you guys be a fallback to at least get the tournament off the ground at PPG?
If something were to happen, if the state were to have a shutdown or whatever, I'm sure the Atlantic 10 does have a contingency plan. And I would imagine it could involve 2 or 3 sites. As we all know, in the world, we're living, what I call 12-hour segments, because information usually changes every 12 hours. But that could be a possibility. We hope it's not, because obviously a huge amount of time and planning is done by the conference office and getting that tournament going, and they're working on a shorter window than normal. So it's going to take all of us to make sure we get that done well. But I think having 2 large game sites that close proximity in Richmond is a good decision by the conference. It allows us to space out teams, different things. So, the testing regimen obviously is very challenging, because you've got to test before early games. And then any team that has aspirations of playing in the NCAA tournament or is going to be in the finals, you've got to have 7 straight days of negative tests to even get over to Indianapolis. So, for the NCAA tournament. So it's a real big logistical challenge for everybody.
Good. Next question. Anybody?
Oh, one more thing for me.
Yep. Go ahead.
Dave, what is your favorite part of the arena? Dan talked about the back gym. What about you? What's your favorite thing or highlight of the place?
I love it all, but I'm a little different. I'm going to look forward to looking at a scoreboard consistently where Duquesne has more points than their opponent.
Here's a nice scoreboard.
So, yeah, but no, I there's so many areas that I'm impressed with. The one thing that just is astonishing to me is our sports performance area. We're going to have the chance to just really transform some young men and women, and I think that's one of the things. But I like them all, but again, I just like to win. So I'm going to hope that the Duquesne side has more points than the other team. So
when the ball goes up against Dayton, are you going to allow yourself to kind of think optimistically to what the whole thing's going to look like with fans? Are you going to have that vision at some point? Are you going to be a little melancholy that you're opening against Dayton and there's nobody there? I mean, like, how are you going to internalize that angle of the emotional response as the AD?
That's a great question, Tim. And I don't know how I'm going to feel. Certainly it'll be excited because we've gotten there. But, there's so much anxiety because you don't know if you're playing until the day before based on test results. I think just tipping it off, to me, will be a testament to everybody that's been involved in this project, from our donors and community partners to guys that did painting, to the construction crews, to the Duquesne team, to everybody that's been involved. It's just a tremendous accomplishment. And, once that ball tips, you've seen me during games. I'm kind of a grinder. I just hope we can hopefully come out on top against a good Dayton team, but it'll be exciting for us all. And, the one thing I think I will feel a little disappointment that it's not being shared with the entire community. We made the decision to let students in and have this be a big part. Students, we need to be a big part of the game atmosphere. So we opened up a sign up and a lottery for them to come in the building. We got a small group that's going to be in there, roughly 50, and we were slammed with requests. So that's a good sign to me. And we're going to do it again for VCU. And, I'd love to have every student in there if we possibly could, and every fan, but it'll be bittersweet. But again, it's just a testament to everybody. And once the ball tips, I'll get into that game pretty fiercely. So.
Wait. Real quick. You said, how many, well, with the students, you said 50 students. Are there going to be parents and family too?
Yeah.
And then
only a certain allotment per each player that is allowed to be in the building, because we have to space it. And then when you count in the officials, the game day crew, and everything else, that'll put us at what's permissible to have in the building.
And then how many people tried to do that lottery, you said?
You know what? I haven't got an update on that yet, but I know we had more than, I want to say we had in the first hour, we had over 230 students get on there, and it's going to be open until the weekend. So we'll probably have quite a bit more by then.
So how many people will be will be fans? How many students and how many other people will there be?
No, we're limited. And again, I'm not perfect on these numbers. I've got our facility folks that have it down to the person, but we're going to allow roughly 50 students. And then depending on who shows up for each player, if a player's family is allowed to make the game, we have 2 allotted spots for each player. But some live across the country, may not be able to get here, et cetera. And we can move it game by game, but we've got to keep it consistent. We have to have that information in advance because if someone were to be positive down the line, we have to contact trace everything if necessary. You know, no one's going to be sitting within 6 feet of one another, obviously. But you know, we have to gather all the information on the fans. We have to do all the screenings for them before they come in and have them ask questions, you know, do all the questionnaires and work the same way we do of a game day crew. So it's a much longer process to get people in the building.
What's capacity when you're allowed to, you know, fill it up?
When we factor it all in, kind of a unique number because we have some standing room areas that would be available. But if we got everybody in there that we could get in there, we'll be at roughly about 4,300, similar to almost what the old building was.
All the offices are going to be in the building?
We are
Coach's offices and yours?
Most of the offices will be in there. However, we are taking over another building on campus and we'll eventually take a building that houses some athletics folks right now offline. So we'll be making that transition in May and April, but the majority of everyone will be in the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. So,
And you're okay with the nickname, the Coop?
I'll call it the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse. Fans can call it what they like, but obviously we are forever indebted to our donors. And again, we're guests there, and I'm proud to have the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse, not just UPMC, but certainly the Cooper name together. It's a great thing and a great recognition of Chuck Cooper, who's you know, one of the hidden stories in all of sports about his accomplishment and coming from Duquesne. So it's great to have that up there loud and proud.
Do you have any more questions for Dave?
No.
You all set?